Let's read a book. Don't come behind the teacher's desk. It's gonna be so hard.
That's the way we get by, so the way we get by.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our own hand sanitizer.
I'm gonna teach you how to give yourself a self-isolation haircut.
That's the way we get
I'll be making my first birthday cake from scratch.
Happy birthday.
Make 2 stitches all the way around.
I'm gonna show you how to properly soak your nails off.
Ew, ew, ew. Today, we're gonna talk about how to groom your dog.
She looks like a fried chicken leg.
I have some key tips that will be helpful in working at home.
Daddy's gotta work.
Today I'm going to show you how to plant some seeds. Grow things you're going to eat, you guys, okay? Okay?
How to make a simple loaf of sourdough bread.
I forgot to score the tops, y'all.
That's the way we get by.
Right, hi everyone, and welcome to this YouTube Social Impact Best Practices Workshop with a focus today on going live on YouTube. So really excited to be bringing together some experts from YouTube Social Impact, from YouTube Spaces, from Google for Nonprofits. And this is our attempt to try and support social impact partners like yourselves. And for us, social impact partners are people like nonprofits, social activists, and creators looking to do good. So what are we going to look at today? We're going to start looking across 3 different areas, which you can see in the agenda here. So we're going to start off with an introduction to YouTube, an introduction to YouTube Social Impact, and an introduction to what we're really excited to launch and show you, our YouTube Social Impact Playbook. And we're going to start off looking at how you can start your journey on YouTube as an impact creator. We're then going to move on to going live on YouTube and looking at why go live, how to get started, how to program and plan live content, as well as live engagement strategies and best practices. And then we're also going to look at an introduction where we're going to introduce Mark Horvath from Invisible People. So you can see the agenda here. We're going to do a Q&A with Mark around 10:30 PST. So we're going to really keep you here for a while, but hopefully with really engaging content. And one thing that I want to reinforce with this is I'm doing this in exactly the same way that you're going to be taught how to do it from the social impact team. So I've got one laptop, microphone, webcam, and then Google Hangouts and some free software. So we really are trying to kind of do it as we're going to teach you, and hopefully we can take a lot from it. So we're also going to give you the opportunity to take questions, and in the live chat we'll be following along. So make sure if you do have any questions, keep them coming in the chat, and what we'll do is at different points throughout the session, we'll cut into those questions. So don't wait until the end. But what we do ask is that you try and make sure that the questions are broad and relevant to everyone in the audience, and not just specifically any technical questions where you can find at our YouTube Help Center. So an introduction to myself first. I work on the YouTube Social Impact team, and you might be wondering, well, what is the YouTube Social Impact team? Essentially, we work with nonprofits, like I say, social activists and creators that want to do good to try and educate and consult on how to use YouTube and how to use video to maximize your impact. We work with huge partners with like global reach and huge fundraising, right the way down to individuals that have their own channel that are looking to make change. And what we've tried to do is to take all of the learnings from working with all of those partners and create resources that in workshops like this and live streams like this, we can share that knowledge, we can share that best practice with you, so you can go out and change the world with whatever your mission is. And I also want to shout out that this is in partnership with our friends at Google for Nonprofits. So Google for Nonprofits is effectively a great set of resources that use Google products that nonprofits can use in special ways, such as our grants process, G Suite Basic, YouTube for Nonprofit program, benefits with Google Earth and Google Maps. The Google for Nonprofit site and registration process is linked in the description. So if you haven't already signed up to Google for Nonprofits, but you think you might be eligible, then make sure you go to that link and you can find more information about that. So I want to start with why YouTube for social impact. So firstly, number one, there's massive reach on YouTube. We have over 2 billion monthly logged in users, and every day people watch over 1 billion hours of video. those audiences are ready to amplify your cause if you just bring it to them in a way that they're happy and excited to engage with. So you've got a huge opportunity to reach a massive global audience like you can't on other platforms. And then secondly, video drives empathy. Unlike other modes of communication, whether it be blog posts or pictures or whatever it might be, video is the number one way to drive empathy. And what we try and educate people on is that driving empathy drives connection, and connection drives people to take action. So having a video strategy really will help bring people along the journey from someone that is a viewer to someone that wants to engage with your content to the ultimate goal of someone that's going to become an advocate and someone that's going to share your content or become a monthly donor. But you can't take them up that journey without driving that connection and driving that empathy at the start. And that's what video is so good at doing. And then finally, engaging new supporters. So we work really hard at YouTube to make sure that you have the features available to you to reach these audiences, to amplify your message, to generate funding through fundraising, and provide education on how to best optimize all of those features, like this workshop today. So you've got a huge opportunity to change the world on YouTube. And what I always say, from working with nonprofits over the years and working 8 years at Google, I've heard so many creators talk about the impact that they've had on their fans, their viewers, their audience, as well as nonprofits and the impact they've had. And I really stress that you're not necessarily going to change the world with a video, but you can change someone's. And that impact can be really genuinely very powerful. So there's a real opportunity to drive great social change on YouTube. So to try and help you with that, we're really excited that last month we launched a YouTube Social Impact Playbook. And it's our way of taking all of the education, all of the resources, everything that we've learned working with nonprofits over the last 15 years of YouTube, and help put that into one easy, digestible place for nonprofits anywhere on their journey to be able to amplify their message, optimize their content. So we're going to do a quick introduction to some of this content now. The playbook is linked in the description. So I really would love if you are able to just go into that description, find the link to the Social Impact Playbook, and take a look at your leisure. We've broken it up into 6 different modules. So you can jump in wherever you are on your journey into each module where it will provide the information that you need. So we start off with initiating your journey, which we're going to look at for the next few minutes now. Then it moves on to mapping your content's mission. So how are you going to drive impact with your content? P, how do you produce content, whether that be on a budget, on a shoestring, or whether you've got more resources. A, which is activate your community. So that is how to engage your community. How do you keep them coming back for more? How do you take them from a viewer to someone that is eventually going to be an advocate, someone that's going to share your content? C, which is connect and collaborate. So how do you connect with your audience? How do you bring them into your content? And how do you connect and collaborate with YouTubers who can really amplify your message? And then finally, takeaways, a recap of all of these different elements. So the first question on, or the first part of the playbook is initiate. And what we try and say is you're on a journey to create greater impact, but it all starts by exploring what seems like a really basic question, but it's really, really vital. And that first question is defining your destination. So to make the most of your journey on YouTube, you really need to know where you're aiming to go. And that's why determining your YouTube goals is really important. So even though the question of what is your content's mission seems super basic and seems super obvious, actually defining what you want your YouTube content's mission to be is not necessarily directly what your organization's mission is. So for example, you might be looking to reach a younger audience on YouTube with a main focus of brand awareness rather than getting monthly donors, for example. So really defining what that content mission is important when you then go to try and produce content and to understand what content you want to create. So in our playbook, the first worksheet in the first section is simply, what is your content's mission on YouTube? The second question is, why is the issue important to your audience? And again, that seems like a really simple question, but what we find with nonprofits is they look at it from, perspective that people should care about your cause. It's an important cause, people should care. But it's really important to reframe that question as to, why does the audience care? Why would the audience be interested? Because if you don't come from it from an audience first perspective, you aren't necessarily going to be able to get the viewership on any platform, because the audience is looking for content that they want to watch, that they want to engage with. So making sure that you think about what is important to the audience is really important. And it seems basic, it seems obvious, but this is the first part of your journey on YouTube if you're going to set yourself up for success. And that's it for the first section. So as you can see in the playbook, this first section is the quickest, but each module in the playbook comes with a little worksheet, a little activity, as well as content to look through. So I would love, after this live stream, for you to take a look at that link, go into the playbook, and then just take yourself through it over time. Don't do it necessarily all at once, but really utilize the worksheets. What we see with nonprofits starting their journey is it can be daunting with a blank YouTube space, a blank canvas. It can be a challenge. So what we try and push is just a way of tangibly writing stuff down so you can see in a visual way what your channel is going to look like. So it would take away that kind of fear of a blank canvas, because you've got these worksheets written down and you can share it with your colleagues, you can share it with your manager for input, and you can all collectively see, right, this is what our YouTube channel is going to look like. So definitely take a look through that playbook. We'll definitely be creating more resources over time and more live streams like this to walk through it with you. But definitely take the opportunity to take a look at that playbook. So that is the introduction to YouTube Social Impact, to the playbook, and just an introduction to initiating your journey. So hopefully you've had a little think about what your mission is on YouTube and what you want to achieve with content, which is still super important for going live, which is the perfect time to introduce our YouTube Spaces team, who we are collaborating with today. So I'll now pass over to the YouTube Spaces team, who are going to walk you through all of the best practices of going live on YouTube.
Hi guys, my name is Mike Kiwis. I'm a technical operations manager at the YouTube Space in Los Angeles. I'm part of the engineering team to keep all the equipment up and running, as well as helping creators in their productions, upon request. That being said, I'm going to pass it on to my colleague Jasmine.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jasmine. I'm a strategic partner manager on the YouTube partnerships team, and I help creators grow and optimize their channel. Pass it over to Dylan.
Thank you, Jasmine. Hi, guys. My name is Dylan LeBou. I'm a production coordinator at the YouTube Space New York. I help facilitate a lot of the large live productions that come into our space on a daily or weekly basis. We've seen anything from creators that are just starting up on the platform to established creators like Mariah Carey and Alicia Keys. But for now, I'm going to toss it over to Carlos, and he's going to start us off and give you his introduction.
Oh, hi, everybody. So my name is Carlos Ferreira. I am the studio operations manager at YouTube Space New York. I've been with the YouTube Spaces team for now 5 years. I have worked in a different couple of productions, a different range of events, including a lot of live streams. So with that, and since you met the whole team, we're going to move forward to the next slide. So you're hopefully by the end of this workshop, you guys will have learned about going live on YouTube and the various aspects that involves in it. We will be covering the importance of going live, how to get started, what's the best practices that you can follow to engage your audience and your fans. Although I'm not an expert, and I have my colleague Jasmine with me, so we're going to touch a little bit upon the alternative monetization revenue that goes along with the live format, but more on that later. And then, if you guys have any questions, meanwhile, just like Dan mentioned, you could just ask on the chat, and we could then answer those questions for you. I'm going to ask Dan if he can move to the Y live slide. So one more. Right there, Dan. Right there. So So some of you are wondering, why do live? Well, first, live gives you the unique opportunity to interact directly and instantly with your fans, as you guys know. For example, we have the entertainment vloggers, the Merrill twins. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them. They gained the number of subscribers just by creating a stream show that is very similar to the regular videos that they usually do. Additionally, live is completely different from any video on demand. As you guys know, it allows you to experiment with the platform possibilities and opens up and it leans into the ease of production with live content. For example, Sarah Bat Yoga, currently with 811 subs, for example, was able to double her weekly content by going live. She spends 2 to 3 hours to produce a live video versus the average 10 to 15 hours to create an on-demand video. Can any one of you guys think of, I'm sure you guys with the current situation, there's a lot of live streams talking about the current situation. If you do want to share some ideas with us, you feel free to do so. And today, more and more people are turning into watching live streams and live content. It's a form for them to interact and entertain some of the followers that follow the channel. And with all this situation with the virus, a lot of people just want to go live and express themselves to the community. Kind of lets them know what's going on in their lives, how they feel, etc. And then now I'm going to pass it over to Dylan. He's going to talk a little bit more over on the live formats.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carlos. So here are some examples of some live formats that really have worked well on the platform. So all of these videos will actually be in the description of this video, so feel free to check them out upon the conclusion of this presentation. So from left to right, you can see we have Q&A formats, community promotion, and real-time response. So in the first video, you can see that AARP is using live streams to host Q&A events to address questions related to remaining connected to loved ones during this pandemic. In number 2, by utilizing live, we saw that Invisible People was able to actually bring together the homeless community to talk about issues that they face during this pandemic. And then finally, all the way to the right, you see that due to Giving Tuesday, the game theorists were actually able to leverage $1.3 million for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. We're going to move to the next slide. And this is going to be, I'm sure that you've noticed that in each of these examples, the creators were using wildly different formats. So when going live, the first step is to figure out which format really works best for you. So for example, in the Q&A session, it's quite a flexible format. So you can either use your phones, your desktop computer, or even an external camera. So, but if you were out and about and you were actually vlogging, I know it's quite difficult during this time, but you wouldn't really choose to utilize your mobile device. You would most likely choose your mobile device rather than your desktop format. If you are planning, however, to collaborate remotely or through screen sharing, you may need to use an external software such as Stage 10 or Streamlabs for OBS. As Dan mentioned earlier, we actually are utilizing Streamlabs for this production, so you can really readily see how easy it is to actually stream live on the YouTube platform. But for now, I'm going to punt it over to Carlos, and he's going to talk a little bit more about how to get started with a mobile device.
Sorry about that. I knew that was going to happen. So let's talk about how live streaming via mobile device or a desktop, they differ. Mobile live streaming lets creators connect and engage with their audience in a more immediate way. For example, go live from nearly any type of device in the main YouTube app, engage your viewers in a moment with real-time chats, post footage from live streams to your YouTube channel after the live stream is over, and monetize live streams with ads and SuperChats. Share also your live stream links on social media, which is a really great way for you to promote your live stream. I'm going to pass it over to Dylan just for us to go over a little bit on the getting started on the desktop.
Thank you, Carlos. So you saw that's all the mobile basics, but if you're going to stream on the desktop, this actually allows you to allow more complex third-party integration. Streaming on your desktop allows you to choose between events or a stream now feature. Events give you a greater control of your live stream. So you can preview before you go live. You can actually have backup redundancy streams, and you can also start and stop the stream whenever you'd like. So this is actually the option that we typically use at the space for all of our different live streams. This option, it really allows a lot of flexibility. It allows us to actually create 3 separate events for one singular live stream. So these 3 different events, 2 of them are actually used as tests, and the third one is our final actual live stream. So the first test that we run is always a connectivity test. We always want to make sure that our Wi-Fi network is actually hitting the platform correctly. Our second test is always our sights and sounds test. So we always want to make sure our cameras, all of our audio is actually going downstream correctly and hitting the platform the way that we intended to hit the platform. And our third one, like I said, is our actual stream. So whatever creator is coming in and producing content at our space, this is the stream. This is the event that actually will go live on their page. With this stream, we always have a backup redundancy stream housed in a different third-party encoder. I know I keep mentioning the words encoder. I promise we're going to get to it a little bit later on. But it allows us, just in case anything were to, God forbid, happen to our first stream, it would actually kick in as if nothing actually even happened and hit the platform. So this is all for if you were to elect to create an event on the platform. If you wanted a simpler or easier way to actually stream, that would be the Stream Now function. This is a quicker and easier way to go live on the platform, and it allows you to utilize your onboard camera from your desktop computer. But for now, I'm going to toss it over to Carlos, and he's going to go over some mobile basics.
All right, thanks, Dylan. Okay, so let's take a look at the mobile live streaming best practice first. When getting set up for a mobile live streaming, it's important to do the following. First, make sure you are set up to go live. This is very important. Some of you might not realize that, but to be able to live stream on the mobile, your channel will need to have at least 1,000 subscribers. Note that this eligibility threshold does not apply to other live streaming tools. Creators who have less than 1,000 subscribers will be able to do live stream through desktops and webcams. Confirm that your account is verified, that you have no live stream restrictions in the last 90 days. It could take up to 24 hours to get your account verified, so please plan accordingly. So next step is prep your device. Check your connection. This is very important. And if you're not on a Wi-Fi network, keep in mind that certain areas like elevators, for example, have less mobile signal and considered to be a location to be really bad to be using. You don't want to be in that situation. So make sure you consider your location carefully. A good rule of thumb is 10 megabytes of data, 1 minute per stream. Having your stream interrupted by a phone call, it's not that great, as you guys know. So turn on the do not disturb or turn on the airplane mode if you're using Wi-Fi. Our rule of thumb is 1% of phone battery per 1 minute of stream. Make sure you charge and feel free to use any external battery for larger streams. If you know you're going to go over, be prepared. Determine whether you're going to use horizontal or vertical orientation for your live stream, and then make sure you lock your screen rotation to prevent any outer rotation during the live stream. You know, that can be really annoying. The second one, you want to check your audio. The most important factor for a good audio is your environment. Find a location with low background noise and echo. If you are on the move, just be mindful of the noise and the movement around you. If you're in a loud environment, for example, an external microphone could be helpful. Lapel microphones, as you guys know, the ones that goes right on your shirt, on your t-shirt, are the best for isolating a single subject. A windscreen is actually a good choice too if you're doing outside. The windscreen reduces wind noise. Many external microphones have them. They come with the microphone. Feel free to use those. It kind of like takes away the noise of the wind. And you could also attach any tiny little, I usually tell people to use some kind of fabric or foam. And if you're doing from your phone, you could just glue it to your phone while you do the live stream, and that could work. It works wonders as well. So the next one too is if you want, you could opt to have a stable mount. As you guys know, there's a lot of people that use selfie sticks. Two major factors that affect the stability of your video are both the weight and distance from your hand. So consider a selfie stick or a mini tripod to create smoother shots. Also, a gimbal. I'm sure you guys came across some of these stuff. You see a lot of people holding them in their hand. A gimbal is a weighted, sometimes battery-powered device that reduces camera shake. So you can even run with it, and it will stay stabilized. Stabilize after publishing. So after you're done with your live stream, you can use the YouTube digital stabilizing to make your VOD look much smoother. And you can find this in the Creative Studio under editing. It's all right there for you. So I'm going to ask Dan just to move into the next slide. You guys can see here on the next slide, there's this video that we're going to watch this video, and it's going to ensure that you're ready to go. Here are a couple of steps that you could go live from your mobile. So please pay close attention, and here we go.
You can live stream from the YouTube app on your mobile device. Before you live stream from your mobile device, your channel needs to have at least 1,000 subscribers and your account must be verified. You can verify your account by going to youtube.com/verify. To be clear, this verification is different from the verification badge you might see on some channels. To live stream, open the YouTube app, tap the camera button, then press live. If it's your first time, you'll have to grant access to the camera, mic, and storage. If prompted, verify your account. From here, you can choose to stream from your front-facing or selfie camera. If you're streaming from an Android phone, you also have the option here to stream your phone's screen. You can now enter the details of your live stream, adjust the privacy setting, add a location, and more. Once you're ready, tap Next. You'll see a countdown timer will start. When it hits 0, it'll take a picture to use as your thumbnail. If you don't like the picture, you can retake it or upload your own custom thumbnail. At this step, you can share your live stream's URL. Once you're happy with the thumbnail, tap Go Live. During your live stream, you can see your chats, add a filter, share your URL, and more. Once you're done, tap the X in the top right corner, then click OK. A recording of your live stream will eventually be available in your video list. If you're having issues with live streaming, or if you want to learn more about all the features and settings available for mobile live streaming, check out the links in the description. Hope that helped!
All right. So also, guys, are you guys with me so far? If you guys have any questions at all, if everyone, I hope everyone is following. But if you do have any questions, just please use the live chat, and we can get those questions answered for you. So I'm going to pass it over to my colleague Dylan. He's going to explain how to go live on a desktop, live basics.
So Carlos, actually, I will just quickly jump in. One of the questions in the chat is, what is the mount called that you were talking about, or that someone was talking about? Can you confirm what the name of the mount was?
Oh, you mean for the gimbal?
Yes, I think they just wanted clarification on the gimbal.
Yeah. There's a couple gimbals out there, and again, guys, this depends also on the budget that you have. But if you look online, Amazon has a couple of good ones. I do follow a lot on B&H because they always have like the newest stuff that comes out. So feel free to, depending on what kind of budget you have. But there's things from less than $100 to all the way up. But there's a couple of good mounts that you could use. There's some people that you have ones that are actually electronically controlled, and then there's ones you could actually control it with just little weights. So I don't have a brand specifically. I do like the DJI brand a lot, but that might be a little bit too expensive for you guys. But if you're planning on do your research. There's a lot of stuff out there, different brands that they offer different choices. And again, this depends on how much you want to spend. But there is a lot of them out there.
Cool, thank you. And another question that keeps coming up from one live chat member is how to get watch time. So if you follow the link to the YouTube Social Impact Playbook, that will give you all of the best practice content strategy for not just live, but broadly speaking, channel strategy. And all of that will help you generally grow watch time over time. And in terms of watch time on live, hopefully that was covered with the different content formats that are available. The three that were talked about, but we'll also start going into how to engage during a live stream, and that will be a way that you can definitely increase watch time on live with techniques to engage with people throughout the stream. So we'll start going into detail on that later on. So how to grow channel, how to grow watch time, Social Impact Playbook, broader Creator Academy resources, and they're all linked in the description. So thank you for those questions, and then Dylan, I'll pass back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, I just want to reiterate, so we will be spending a little bit more time on this section. So if you have any more questions, feel free to just drop them in the live chat. So we're going to be talking about some desktop live basics. So I know that a lot of some of these check marks are going to seem simple, but trust me, I cannot tell you how many times I've seen a stream either fall flat or fail due to a creator not running through all these checks. So firstly, I want you guys all to test your connection. Make sure that you have good upload bandwidth by speed testing your network. Make sure that if you're going to be streaming on Friday at 4 p.m., you continuously check Monday through Thursday at that exact same time to make sure that the correct amount of bandwidth holds up at 4 p.m. every single day. You want to make sure that your roommates, your family members aren't streaming, watching TV or something during your live stream. A general rule of thumb for live streaming on the platform is if you're streaming a standard definition video, it's about 3 megabytes per second. If you're opting for 720 or 1080 or high definition video, we like to call it, it's about 5 to 10 megabytes per second. And if you really wanted to get carried away and you wanted to stream in that 4K high definition, it would be about 25 megabytes per second. So after you've checked your internet connection, we also want you to consider third-party software. So while YouTube, we do offer a comprehensive suite of tools in order to help you on your live streaming journey, we actually do not provide encoding software. So the best type of encoding software, it really depends on what your needs are. If you are a gamer, if you are taking interviews, all that type of stuff. Just a couple that we've seen work harmoniously with the YouTube platform are Elgato or Stage 10, Wirecast, and Streamlabs. I promise we'll talk a little bit more about encoding software later on in the deck. But for now, I want to move on to customizing your stream at will. So while customizing your stream, it could help provide an extremely polished or professional look, and it will allow the viewers to engage more, create a better viewer experience. Consider maybe creating custom scenes with your encoder, or using third-party tools like IFTT for audience interactivity. You can even embed your chat and create super visuals and super notable moments with SuperChats or new members, and we'll discuss those in the monetization section of the presentation a little bit later on. We want you guys to check your equipment. So while all these are not necessary in order to actually go live, each of these will actually optimize your experience for your viewers. So if you look towards the deck right now, you can see some of the things that this streamer did in order to actually optimize the look of their stream. So one of them is lighting. So you look to it, you can see that they were actually utilizing a ring light. So ring lights and professional lighting rigs, they will make a big difference in your video quality, but you don't necessarily need to splurge in order to have a great looking stream. If you wanted to spice up your lighting, you could utilize something like Christmas lights or just some lamps from around your house. This really will allow your stream to be more appealing to the viewer's eye, make you look a lot better and more crisp on the stream. You can opt for either your onboard camera, or as you can see that this streamer elected to do, they actually use an external camera where they actually heighten the video quality of their stream. One last one, just for example, is an external monitor. You can see that this streamer opted for 3. They got a little bit carried away, in my opinion. But if you do want a secondary external monitor, I've seen really cool things with streamers where they actually interact with their chat and they ask for really cool videos that some of their viewers may have seen in the past, and they actually can switch between their reaction to watching the video and actual footage of their reaction to the video. This can all be done utilizing an advanced a stream deck that could actually sit on your desktop. So a stream deck is actually like a pretty cool switcher, for lack of a better term, that can switch back and forth between different inputs that you are utilizing. But once again, this all is not necessary. If you wanted to opt for, Dan, if you can move towards the next slide. If you wanted to opt to actually go live via your onboard camera, you could do that. If you don't have the time, or if you're just beginning, you can just go live from your onboard camera. So if you look towards the deck now, you can see that these creators are taking you through some simple steps to actually go live on the platform. I will actually give you guys a live demo on how to go live via both your onboard camera and creating events a little bit later on. But for now, I'm going to touch on one of our newer features, the Premiere Overview. So Dan, if you could pop over to the next slide. That new feature is actually our Premiere function. So YouTube Premiere, it really lets you and your viewers watch and experience a new video together. It's like a movie or a TV show premiere, just virtually. It's a cool thing that you can utilize in order to actually create buzz around a premiering video or a new music video release, or cool things like that. A cool example that I've seen in the past is actually Lily Singh. She actually leveraged the Premiere function with the live function on YouTube, and actually invited fans into her home virtually, of course, where they actually were able to watch a trip to Unicorn Island, which was her YouTube original. She actually went live on the platform at the same exact time that she was premiering this video, and they started the video at the same exact time, and then she removed the video from her live stream, and they were actually able to have her up in the background with her commentary of her different videos and everything like that. Just one quick note actually on Premiere, if you move to the next slide. Premiere can only be created on a desktop computer. So while they can be consumed via mobile device or desktop or YouTube TV, they do actually have to be created on the desktop. There is some more information about the Premiere function and Premiere Overview that will be in the description of this video. But now I'm going to take you to what everybody's waiting for, actually some steps to stream on the platform. So Dan, if you can move to the next slide. I'm going to verbally talk through how to actually stream on the platform, and then I'm going to give you a visual demo. So in order to actually stream on the platform, you'll first need to go ahead and sign into your YouTube channel that you want to stream from. You're then going to select the camera button in the top right-hand corner. You're going to click Go Live. You're going to create a title, fill in all the necessary fields, and then you're actually going to click Go Live. After that, you'll be able to see all the different metrics, everything like that, but we'll discuss that a little bit later on. If you wanted to actually create a new stream, Dan, if you move to the next slide, this is how you actually create an event on the platform. So in order to create an event, many of the early steps are actually the same, but instead of clicking on the webcam tab, you're actually going to click on the stream tab. You're then going to fill in all of the necessary information, and then you're gonna either be able to create your stream or actually go live. I know that I learn better when seeing it actually done, so now I'm going to transition to the interface and give you a demo on how to go live. Awesome. So right now we're here at my channel dashboard. You see me in the top left. You see my current 1 subscriber. It's probably my mom. But we're going to click in the top right-hand corner where it says create. There's going to be 2 options. So the first one I know you guys are all very familiar with, which is upload videos. And the second is actually go live. In this case, we're going to click go live, and it's going to take us to this screen. It may look a little bit different to any of you who actually have streamed on the platform before. We've recently updated our interface. But there still is the option for the Stream Now Classic version down here, but it will be going away relatively shortly. So I encourage y'all to familiarize yourself with the new workflow. So right now we're going to opt for the Stream Now function. So we're going to click on Webcam right here. We're going to be able to create a title, which is going to be in this case test. I'm going to switch it to private so that nobody can see my test stream. And then we're going to fill in all the other information that the platform asks for. You can either choose to schedule a stream now for later. I'm going to say no, it's not made for kids. If you want to have an age restriction on any of your live streams, you can. But in this case, I'm going to say no. We're going to click next. It's going to ask me for a thumbnail. I'm going to take it. And then if I don't actually like that thumbnail, I will be able to retake it or upload a custom thumbnail. I'm not actually going to go live now because my camera and microphone are being taken up by this meeting. But if I wanted to, I could select this Go Live button right here, and it will pop me straight into the platform, and I'll be live and on my way. So it's super simple. You see how user-friendly it is. It asks for some simple steps, and you'll be able to go live straight from your onboard camera. If I wanted to opt for creating an event, which I would be using in my third-party encoders, I would actually select the Stream tab. So right now, keep an eye on this big box, which is a test stream that we did for a past Sierra live stream at our space. So this is a custom stream key or a reusable stream key that we'll go over a little bit in advance. This is going to be your best friend if you habitually stream on the platform. But for now, we're going to do it as if I have never created a stream event in my life, and it's going to take us to this new stream page. I'm going to fill in the title, which is test. You can see how it looks almost similar or alike to the Stream Now function. I'm going to say private. I'm going to add a description to this one. I can either schedule it to later. I can choose what category it falls under. I could upload a custom thumbnail. So this is if you had a press photo or some cool image, we would be able to create that as the thumbnail. I'm going to say, once again, no, it's not for kids. And then I'm going to click Create Stream. So right now, this is going to pop us into our YouTube control room, and I'll transition actually back to the deck, and we'll talk a little bit more about this page. So Dan, if you can advance forward just with one more slide, it'll actually pop us back into where we left off on the interface. Awesome. So cool. So this is where we actually left off in the live control room. So as you can see, this is going to be your best friend if you're creating events on the platform. So when you enter into the live control room, a dialog box is going to appear where you can see look to number 1, where it says your stream key, your stream information, everything like that. It's going to prompt you to actually copy your stream key and URL as well. In the stream settings section, you can actually see your stream key, and this is where you're going to copy and paste and put it into your encoder. So if you did opt for third-party software, you'd be able to highlight that, copy it, make sure you copy it exactly as it's seen on the platform, enter it into your encoder, and then you'll actually be able to see yourself on as a preview in section number 2, where you see that box highlighted. This is your preview window. So once you've actually copied and pasted that into your encoder, you're going to see a preview of yourself. Do not be alarmed. This is not you actually going live on the platform. It's just giving you a preview of how it's hitting the actual platform for streamers. It will actually give you a URL link. So if you had some friends or family that you trusted to give you constructive criticism about your stream prior to going live, you could send that out to them, and they'll be able to see everything that's going on the YouTube platform. Right under that, you see the Wi-Fi logo and number 3. And this is where you can actually see your stream health and how everything's hitting the platform. So you have 3 options that this will typically read. It'll either be poor, it will be good, or it'll be excellent connection. So you want to hover around the excellent to good connection. This is an area that you want to live within. If you were just testing your stream and you walked away for a moment and it was just a static image and no sound or anything like that going through, it's going to always read it as good. Don't be alarmed. This is just because the platform isn't recognizing why nothing's going on within the platform. If you are actually streaming, however, and it does fall below the excellent connectivity and into the good or poor, you want to make sure that nobody else is streaming from your house. No one else is utilizing your bandwidth for gaming or streaming or anything like that. At this point, I'm going to talk about some custom stream keys. So if you guys remember back to when I was actually giving the demo and you saw my Sierra live stream, this is like I said, is going to be your best friend. So once you actually pop into the user interface and you create your first stream on the actual platform, you can actually choose to utilize this as a custom stream key going forward. So if you were actually habitually going to stream on the platform, maybe daily, weekly, or monthly, you can actually save the same exact settings from your first stream of that nature, and it will actually allow you to use the same settings, whether it was bitrate, frames per second, or encoder that you were actually using. So the steps in order to do that is just from the stream tab, you're going to create a new stream. You're going to go to the stream settings tab. Under select stream key, you're going to select create a new stream key. You're going to enter the name and description and bitrate, and then you're going to click create. So your custom stream key is always going to show up when after you've created your first stream on the platform. It's always going to look blank prior to doing that, but once you already have, it's going to save you so much time while streaming on the platform. At this point, I'm going to pass it over to Mike, and he's going to talk a little bit more about bitrate on the platform.
So if I can jump in just before Mike, a couple of questions have come through. One question is, do we need 1,000 subscribers to go live? And just reinforcing that for mobile, you need 1,000 subscribers to go live. However, if you're just going live from your webcam or from a desktop, then you don't need those 1,000 subscribers. You do need to make sure that your account is verified, and there are instructions to do that in the description, which links to a help center. So just to really reinforce, 1,000 subscribers is required for mobile live, but anyone that is verified and in good standing is able to live stream from desktop and webcam. So just want to really reinforce that. The other question, which links to premieres, is there a limit in terms of video hours where you can upload a premiere? For example, if you have 3 hours of video content, can that be uploaded on a premiere function?
Yeah, so you can upload longer form content via the Premiere function. We do actually have a link to some more of the Premiere best practices and everything like that in the description of the video. But yes, you can upload longer form content with the Premiere function.
Perfect, thank you. So over to Mike.
Hi guys, yeah, so a little bit more about bitrate here. So bitrate is measured by the amount of data encoded for a unit of time. And for streaming, it's usually referenced to megabits per second for video and kilobits per second for audio. From a streaming perspective, a higher video bitrate means higher quality video, but that also requires more bandwidth. So you're probably asking yourself, why doesn't everyone just upload at the highest bitrate possible? Well, not every viewer can download at the highest bitrate possible. Here's an example. Let's say you've downloaded you have a download speed of 5 megabits per second, and you're watching a stream at 6 megabits per second. The viewing experience is going to be choppy, and you'll probably get stuck in sort of a buffering limbo because your connection can't keep up with the amount of info being sent on the stream. So one other thing to remember, that a high video bitrate may provide excellent quality, it can also place a major strain on the hardware, which in turn can result in lag or sort of a stuttering effect on the video. If this happens, try lowering the bitrate to improve the quality of the stream. You can probably put a link up here to check your bitrate settings that the platform recommends for various bitrates and resolutions. Back to you, Dylan.
Awesome, thank you, Mike. So yeah, if you are streaming through the live control room, you only need to specify your resolution and your frame rate into your encoder. YouTube is automatically going to detect which encoder settings you actually choose, and it will go from there. But for right now, I'm going to pass it over to Carlos, and he's going to talk a little bit more in depth about the live control room dash.
All right, thank you, Dylan. All right, so really quick, I'm going to take you guys over, and this kind of like segues into our next part, which is latency. You guys can see on the bottom left there. So hopefully you are able to see your preview in the top box by now. If not, just go back, check your external software, and just troubleshoot it from there. Stream latency is the delay between your camera capturing an event and the event being displayed to viewers. When setting up your live stream, think about how the level of latency may affect your viewers. Mike, do you have any tips that you can share with us about latency?
Yeah, Carlos. So latency is the measure of time delay between the source, which is your camera, and the delivery to the viewer screen. Latency can vary anywhere from less than 10 milliseconds on some cable internet connections to more than a second on some satellite internet connections. To stream smooth video, you need a good internet connection with high throughput speeds and low latency, or ping time as they call it. Ping time is the time it takes for your network to connect to a host and begin transferring data over the internet. In many cases, the latency of your internet connection affects the video streaming more than the speed of the connection itself. So essentially, if your video is lagging, it's probably because the internet connection has a high latency, or you may just need to select a lower playback quality from the menu settings. To discover the latency of your internet connection, you can run an internet speed test. You can go to speedtest.net, which we can also probably share this link with you. That being said, back to you, Carlos.
All right, thanks, Mike. So as you guys can see on the YouTube platform, there are 3 different types of latency options to choose from. You got the normal, the low, and the ultra low. So if you choose normal latency, if you don't plan to interact with your audience, and again, if you don't plan to interact with your audience, this is the highest quality settings for viewers since it has the lowest amount of viewers buffering. All resolutions and live features are supported with a normal latency. So if you choose low latency for minimal viewer buffering, this setting is a good balance between the other 2 options that I'm giving you guys. Note that this setting does not support 4K resolution. This is the best one for when you want to read comments or interactions and then respond to them. If you are really stuck on doing 4K, this is not the option, a good option for you. Now, your ultra low latency should be used to maximize engagement with your audience. And if you don't mind increasing the chances that your viewers may be buffering a little bit more, this setting does not support 1440p and 4K resolutions. So you guys might, if you guys are wondering what 1440p is, it's known as the Quad HD because it offers 4 times what the resolution of 720 HD offers. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to pass it over now to Dylan just to go over the YouTube live control room.
Awesome. Thank you, Carlos. So yeah, I wanted to take a moment here to actually talk about encoders. I know I keep throwing around third-party encoding software and encoders, and some of you may not be familiar with what this tech actually is and what it allows you to do. So streaming via an encoder actually allows you to do a lot more with your live stream. So you can either broadcast gameplay, you can use external audio or video hardware, you can involve multiple cameras, or you can even collaborate with multiple creators as we are doing here today. If you don't want to use an encoder, however, you can go live with your webcam like we talked about earlier on in the presentation. But if you were to opt to use an encoder third-party software, you will need to download this software or get this hardware in order to connect your stream to the YouTube platform. I'll pass it now over to Mike, and he'll talk you through different YouTube tested encoding softwares and hardwares that we see have worked really harmoniously with the YouTube platform.
Hi, Dylan. Yeah. So like Dylan mentioned earlier, there's quite a few hardware and software encoders to choose from. I'm just going to touch a few of them in this presentation. In the meantime, we can share a link with you. On the tab that's labeled YouTube Live and Verified Hardware and Software Encoders, there's a list of suggested ones that the platform has verified. Let's start with Stage 10. They offer a free and a paid version. The software is web-based, where you can easily drag and drop media, add overlays, and mix real-time feeds. There's Streamlabs, OBS. This one, this can be used with several operating systems like Windows, iOS, and even Android. They offer a free and paid version. This is an open source software for video recording and live streaming. This is a good one for those of you who like the option to deep dive into the manual settings. Then there's XSplit Broadcaster and XSplit Gamecaster. Both have a free versions of Windows available. They can both be used for streaming and recording gaming moments to your channel. If you'd like more detail on these encoders, drop your questions in the chat box and we'll try and address these in the Q&A portion of the presentation. All right, then back to you, Dylan.
And just jumping in, just to reinforce that all of the links that everyone's talking about are in the very long description. So you can go through, and when people are talking about encoders, when people are talking about premieres or whatever it might be, all of the links are in the description so you can follow along. But do keep coming in with the questions in live chat if you want any further detail.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, so I just want to reiterate what Mike was saying. So if you are using the software like the ones that we suggested, you can choose to actually add guest collaborators for your stream. So if you wanted somebody, I know that right now you can't really meet up to collaborate with some of your like-minded creators. So this is actually an option if you wanted a Skype call or a Google Hangout or anything, a Zoom that's been really popular in these days. You would actually be able to connect everybody through these, through the third-party software and then eventually onto the YouTube platform. But yeah, once all these steps from the deck have been completed, you are actually ready to hit the big blue button and go live. Just remember that the live control room is where you are going to be managing your entire stream during the duration, and you will actually receive a post-check stream after the video has actually gone to VOD. So you'll be able to see all of the different concurrent viewers, the amount of chats, super chats, everything that you've received during the duration of your stream. But for that, I'm going to pass it over to Carlos, and he's going to talk about your post-stream check.
All right. So let's talk a little bit, and then I'm going to ask you just to change slide. After your stream, so the next steps, I'm going to go a little bit over once you are done with your stream. You could expand your content's reach by continuing to promote and feature your live moments by doing the following. So one of them is creating highlights. Consider editing down some of your best live moments into more of a digestible highlight reels to reach a broader audience that you want to kind of get the best moments of your stream so you can reach that audience. These broadly appealing videos can act as an anchor to expose new audiences to your live streams. So the second one is prolonging the hype. After the stream, create a FOMO and reward viewers in attendance with recaps, inside jokes, shout outs to the community. And you can do this on the community tab, or you can do it via stories, or even use other social platforms. Continued reference to these stream moments will create incentives for viewers to be present in future live streams, and you do want to make sure that they keep coming back to your future live streams. The third one will be archiving appropriately. So consider creating playlists for each of your audience, for the audience, some of the archive streams in a fashion that makes the most sense for your audience. For example, by topic or by season. Those are two good ways to kind of archiving correctly. Place these playlists on your channel homepage and promote them in a highlight clips for each of the streams. Moving on to the next slide. So once you have ended your stream, go to your YouTube Studio dashboard. Then you should go to Videos tab. You should see two tabs there, Uploads and Live. This is where you will find them. Here you can create highlights, rewatch the live streams, publish it as an upload even, and even edit if you need to. Just remember, and this is very important, just remember if you trim or you edit your clips directly in your Creator Studio on the platform, you will lose the live chat display. So if the chat display is important to you, for example, if you are not able to get back to all of your fans' questions and you plan to do the follow-up video to answer their questions, keep the live chat option intact. This will be important. So take that in consideration. You can also add end cards and link other videos, add the subscribe button and more. Exactly how you would do it when you're doing when you are uploading a video to YouTube. So you guys should be familiar with that. So the next slide, just to add a quick tip, don't forget to promote your live stream before you go live. And this will ensure that you will have more viewerships and people know that you are about to go live. So I'm going to pass it over now to Jasmine. We're going to go over to the next slide, and she's going to go over a little bit about monetization like we promised in the beginning.
Yes, so like Carlos said at the beginning of the workshop, we did say that we would briefly go over some monetization revenue opportunities that go well with live streams. So the following features apply to everyone who is eligible for monetization. Right, so next slide, please. Okay, so the first is memberships. So if you already have an active memberships program, you can integrate some of your offerings directly into your live streams. So these include members only chat. So this is great if you're a frequent live streamer. So enabling members only chat would be a great way to amplify your members' chats while still making content available and accessible to those who aren't members. You can also use members only live streams. So members only live streams are a great way to have a more intimate and less polished interaction with viewers. So if you aren't already used to streaming, this can be a low pressure way to experiment by just opening the stream up to your members. And then finally, custom badges and emojis. So this will allow your most loyal fans to stand out from the rest of the crowd in the live chat. So consider leaning into inside jokes and memes that will resonate the most with your members to add value to this custom perk. And if your channel is eligible for memberships, you'll find more information about this feature in the monetization tab of your Creator Studio. Okay, next is merch. So live streams also provide a great way to integrate your merch offerings. So one way that you can integrate your merch offering is by pinning the merch to the top of your live chat while streaming. So as you can see in the example on the right, if you pin your merch to the top of the live chat, it will provide something like a billboard for those viewers in the chat. You can also showcase your merch in the shelf below the VOD. So for those viewers who aren't looking at the chat, they can still easily see your merch offerings in the merch shelf below the stream, like it has in the example on the right. And then finally, displaying your merch in the store tab of your channel page. So this is a way that you can direct viewers to check out your merch offerings by directing them to the store tab on your channel page following the end of your stream. Right. And the next feature is SuperChat or Super Stickers. So SuperChat gives fans and creators a new way to connect with one another during a live stream or premiere. SuperChat and Super Stickers allow viewers to purchase brightly colored pinned chat messages or stickers during streams. So the more viewers spend, the longer the SuperChat will stay at the top of the chat feed. So you can see that again in the example on the right. And this will create a way for creators to tap into new revenue streams and also a way for them to recognize some of their super fans. And when using Super Chats, remember that most of your viewers are using them to first stand out from the crowd. So with this in mind, be sure to thank viewers who send Super Chats via an on-screen shout out, or if you want to use on-screen graphics. Viewers also use Super Chats to participate in the content. So where possible, try to integrate the conversation into the content itself. And by doing this, you can put the viewer in the driver's seat of the stream momentarily. And finally, they use Super Chats and Super Stickers to support what they love. So I think this is great for this use case that we're talking about today. So when possible, do try to inform the viewers where the money is going and let them see the results firsthand. And like with the other features, to turn on this feature, you can go to the monetization section in your Creator Studio to see more details and the option to enable. Right. Next slide, please. Okay. And then we also wanted to include YouTube giving. So for this section, we do have a 2-minute video that Daniel will play to give more information. And once we're done, we'll go back to the recap and take more questions.
Hi, I'm Shireen. In this video, I'll show you how to set up a YouTube Giving fundraiser, and I'll share a few best practices. YouTube Giving empowers you to use your voice to support the causes you care about. Whether you're raising money with the donate button or with live chat donations, we've made it easy for creators to fundraise for eligible US nonprofits. On top of that, YouTube covers all transaction fees, so 100% of the money you raise goes to the eligible nonprofit. When you set up a fundraiser, your fans will be able to donate to your cause in two ways. First, with the donate button. That will appear next to your video or live stream. Second, if you add your fundraiser to a live stream with chat enabled, your viewers will also be able to donate through the chat. Before we get into how to set up your fundraiser, here are a few quick tips that can help you amplify your reach and impact. First, create the connection. Share with your fans why the cause is important to you and why they should donate. Whether it's by creating a clip that you add to the beginning of your videos or a live stream dedicated to the fundraiser, sharing your passion for the cause can make a big impact. Second, activate your community. You can increase your impact and your reach by collaborating with other creators through a community fundraiser. Third, spread the word and ask your fans to donate. By sharing your cause across social media, you can reach all your fans and spread awareness. Now let's dive into how to set up a YouTube Giving fundraiser. You'll have the option to create a fundraiser or to join another creator's community fundraiser. Start by logging into your account at studio.youtube.com. Then click on the Monetization tab and then Giving at the top of the page. Click Get Started to create or join a fundraiser. When you choose to join a fundraiser, you'll see a list of community fundraisers already started by other creators. When you choose to create a fundraiser, you'll first select the eligible 501c3 US nonprofit that you would like to raise money for. If the nonprofit you would like to support is not listed, please let us know. Once you've selected a nonprofit, you'll customize your fundraiser title and the subtitle. Next, select your fundraiser image. If the nonprofit has an official icon, you'll see it in addition to 3 YouTube Giving icons that you can choose from. This image will appear alongside your fundraiser title. Click Continue to write a description about why the cause is important to you. Then add a personalized thank you message that donors will receive with their confirmation. Finally, you can amplify your impact with a community fundraiser by adding collaborators. You can choose to make your fundraiser joinable by all eligible creators or by specific creators with access to YouTube Giving. You'll then see the option to set a fundraiser goal and a duration, or you can create an ongoing one. Remember, you can change your amount goal and duration at any time during your campaign. After setting your amount goal, click Continue to go to the final step where you'll select videos to add your fundraiser to. When you click Publish, you'll see the Donate button appear next to your selected videos. If you selected a live stream with chat, the option to donate through chat will also appear. You can keep an eye on how your fundraiser is performing in the Giving tab. You can also edit your campaign to add or remove videos or change the amount goal and end date at any time. Just click on the 3-dot menu next to your fundraiser. To delete your fundraiser and remove the Donate button from your videos, you can click on Delete. And that's it. We're excited to roll out YouTube Giving to US-based creators in the upcoming months. You'll see a notification in your YouTube Studio dashboard when you have access. If you have any feedback as we continue to expand the product, please let us know. We hope you enjoy using YouTube Giving, and thanks for making a positive social impact with YouTube.
Cool, so that was a great insight into YouTube Giving from our fantastic colleague, Shireen. All of these videos that we keep interlaying are on the Creator YouTube channel. So if you are looking for more information in video format on so many different topics around engagement, audience development, live content, giving, whatever it might be, there are tons of videos on that Creator channel. And I just wanted to take a couple of questions that were in the chat. So one was, are any limitations in YouTube due to COVID-19? Not currently. Everything on the YouTube side is operating pretty much as expected. So you shouldn't see any interference in any of your content processes, payment, or anything like that through COVID-19. And we have a question here. How do you add multiple people to the live stream via third-party apps? As well as how do you learn how to use third-party apps, which I think are kind of combined. So if someone wants to take that question from the Spaces team.
Yes. So so with the third-party apps, it depends on which platform you're on. But from my experience, either Stage 10 or OBS, you can it allows you to either invite other people in or have multiple multi-camera set up to be able to ingest into your live stream and actually switch live via the software. As far as like Stage 10, the difference between like OBS and Streamlabs OBS, I think there's just a more professional version between the two. Stage 10 is a little bit more consumer user friendly. So, I just recommend you go to the site on our webpage and look at the different options that have been verified by the platform. I hope that answers your question.
Cool. And then there was another question, which is, I assume you joined late because we covered how to go live on mobile. So there are just links in the description which will point you in the direction of that. But also if you go further back into the live stream, there's a slide which we talk through, going through step by step how to go live through mobile. And again, reinforcing that is the only live format where there is a 1,000 subscriber limit, enabling you to do that, whereas desktop and webcam is available to all verified partners. And with that, questions covered, I'm going to pass back to Carlos for the recap.
All right, thanks, Dan. Appreciate that. So just to recap everything that we went through, we did mention make the choices between desktop and mobile streaming, and then get familiar with the basics. We went over that. Plan your live schedule and program out to the content of the upcoming streams. Check your settings and prepare a chat plan for your future streams. And remember to use the stream keys. This will help you moving forward. Try to integrate the live best practice into your content and have a plan for archiving streams once you are completed. And this kind of brings us to the end of the workshop on our side of the Spaces. I hope we went over a lot of the stuff that you guys were looking for to go live on mobile, on desktops, third-party software. We kind of give you a couple of different choices that you could utilize. And I'm going to pass it over to Dan.
Brilliant. Thank you so much to the Spaces team for supporting us with this, and thank you for all the questions in the comments. And now we've looked at the how and the why, and Spaces team, you're welcome to drop off at this point. Really appreciate your time. You can get back to your day. With all of that how and why, we want to now engage with a partner that we see on the regular doing weekly live streams to engage their audience, and that is Mark from Invisible People. And to kickstart an introduction, what I'm going to do is play a quick video which will give you some insight into Mark and Invisible People channel. So I'm going to cut to that video now.
The public's inability to relate to homelessness is our biggest obstacle to ending it. Hi, I'm Mark Horvath. I'm the founder of Invisible People. We are the only national education-based nonprofit working to end homelessness in North America. Through innovative storytelling, education, news, and advocacy, we are changing the narrative on homelessness. In fact, we do it better than anyone. Housing programs have been created, feeding programs have been created, but more importantly, millions upon millions of people have been educated on homelessness. Our work is becoming more and more important. Thanks to supporters like you, we've been able to scale this last year. We reached 1 billion people on social media last year. Our minimum yearly benchmark on YouTube is now 30 million views. And it's all made possible because of you. Because you believed in me, you believed in this work, and you believed in Invisible People. ago, I was facing homelessness again for a second time. I grabbed a camera and I started interviewing homeless people, raw and unedited, and putting it up on YouTube. And now we just reached 400,000 subs yesterday, a true miracle. But in the context of nonprofit, what we believe is society's inability to relate to homelessness is the biggest obstacle to ending it. And through YouTube, and we also do journalism and advocacy and education, but we are able to reach people in a significant way on a very limited budget. And I am grateful for YouTube for allowing nonprofits to be able to have this channel that for free, if you just follow some best practices, miracles will happen.
Yeah, I have to say, one thing that we have is a conversation with the nonprofits on the regular is they come to us and say, it's too difficult, it's too expensive, it takes too much time. And I think Invisible People is a perfect example of actually, if you get the content right, you get the community building right, really all you need is a camera and a narrative, which you've excelled at. So with the focus on live in this session, tell us about your live strategy, because I know you've been doing weekly live streams for the last, I don't know how long, but tell us about why you went and invested in that.
So first, for this conversation, because it's nonprofit or social impact, and nonprofits, my background is fundraising, and I understand we have to raise money. So a lot of times you say, well, why live stream? What are we going to get out of it? Well, not too long ago, somebody wrote me a $10,000 check from a live stream, and I have a monthly donor, a major donor actually, who every Sunday morning emails me or texts me to say, we need you to go live tonight, or asking, are you going live? Every Sunday. So it's amazing, not just as a tool to connect to your audience, but also as a fundraising tool. Around 2 years ago, my initial background, I was a broadcast dinosaur, making sure the world got TV. I was a television producer. So around 2 years ago, I started producing live streams. I saw live streams coming. I did the best I can to, have a good camera, good lights, and I had guests, and I did, that picture in picture, and I produced a show. And right around the third show, I realized, I looked in the chat and people weren't paying attention. They just wanted to talk to me. So now the show is pretty much me just talking to the community. We still have guests. We've recently had some homeless people that join on. This Thursday, an emergency room doctor from New York City who's on the front lines of COVID-19 and homelessness is going to be joining me on a live stream. Traditionally, or we try to keep a schedule. Humans are creatures of familiarity, so we try to keep a schedule of every Sunday night at 8 o'clock. Being consistent is extremely important for growing an audience. But for us, our DNA is homelessness, and it's mind-boggling to me the amount of people struggling with their rent and maybe being evicted that join the chat. And our moderators are homeless people. I have 2 homeless people that moderate the chat, and a bunch of other homeless friends come in. So it becomes this, everything we do is geared around educating the public. So it's not just me or me occasionally having a guest. It's also the chat room is, with homeless people engaged and people asking questions. It's gorgeous. I got to admit, every Sunday night I log in, and there's people waiting. There's people waiting to see me, and that's mind-blowing to me. But from a nonprofit perspective, it's a great place to connect with your audience in real time.
Couldn't agree more on the impact it has in growing that community. And amazing that people are sitting waiting for you to do it, which I'm sure puts pressure on you to then feel that you have to. In terms of setup, how you say it's every Sunday, or where it's possible to be every Sunday when you're not traveling or away. What is the setup? How easy did you find it? Have you developed from the first to where you are now? How's the development gone?
Yeah, so one of the things that we as nonprofits or for-profits or anybody is don't let gear stop you. Many of the top YouTubers were, started by using their cell phone. There is this unique characteristic of YouTube where what I would consider wrong coming from broadcast television is okay. Authenticity has replaced production value. So, right now I'm going through a DSLR camera. I have a better mic, but when I'm on the road, I just use the webcam. Sometimes I've gone live from my phone. Just go live. Don't worry about it. Connect with your audience. And, this is the thing that there's going to be mistakes. There is going to be mistakes. It's not like traditional video production, it's live. And I'm not an expert and I cannot afford a television crew to be with me. So I might push a wrong button. I might have the audio a little wrong or whatever. I can't say it doesn't matter, but to your audience, they'll forgive you. They just want to hear from you. And being live is one of the best ways to do that.
Definitely. And I think one of the questions that just came up is giving you a lot of credit that Mark has a tech background. We're a small nonprofit and need an affordable solution to take care of live streams each week. But to your point there, literally it is a webcam through the YouTube Spaces have just educated us on how to go live through your webcam super easily. So if you've got a laptop, you really are good to go. Everything else is just a nice to have, right?
Yeah. And I just want to clarify that I do have a tech background to some extent. And even the most technical background, there's going to be mistakes. You're going to, the last 2 live streams that we did, the technical background actually hurts me because it's like, oh my gosh, it's not perfect. Oh, but the audience doesn't care. They love it. And the setup that I'm using now is not over $1,000. It's relatively cheap. And if you go back through our live streams, many of them are done, from the webcam. When I travel, I use a little Logitech mic that is like $69 on Amazon. And many times I will live stream from my phone. And people like that. They like the remote. I mean, the quality isn't there, but it's really darn good quality considering it's a mobile device. Don't let technology or gear stop you. Just do it.
Definitely. And I think it really depends on your objective as well. If you are an organization who want things to be professional and you're bringing in lots of different speakers and lots of different engagement, like that is really possible to do on a third-party encoder or just by streaming through third-party softwares, which we've gone through in the Spaces element. But there's also something to be said on the authenticity. If your goal is to really engage and change minds, then it is almost better to have that more authentic live experience. Because it means people can almost relate to you a little bit more and get closer to you. I just want to do a comment here saying from Bridget, thank you so much. I've been homeless or on the verge for a couple of years due to spousal suicide. Much love and peace and respect, just acknowledging that it saves lives, believe me. So that is an example of a comment that I guess you get in your comments and in your live streams all the time. So the question to you is, how do you engage throughout the live stream? What techniques, what different approaches do you take to engage with your audience through the stream?
First, Bridget, I am so sorry to learn about your homelessness. If you can message me on Twitter or my email, they're all public. I would love to connect you to our online support group for homeless people. So when you, there's no secret sauce. There's no set thing. It's, just as you would talk to a friend or a family member, you acknowledge people, you listen, you be present. We live in some challenging times. 30 million people are now unemployed. There's going to be a lot of people that are hurting and scared. And I really believe that people have to, feel those feelings. I don't think that if you bury toxic waste, it doesn't go away. We still have to have hope because we're going to get over this. It's, this virus thing isn't going to be around forever. But when people, having good moderation is important. The people that moderate our chat are instructed. I believe in open communication. As long as there's no racism and there's no personal attacks, I don't care if they say something bad about me. Maybe it's something I need to hear. That's kind of tricky for some nonprofits, but I really believe in open communication. And it was hard for our moderators. Well, Mark, they were saying something bad about you. No, let it go. I want that open communication. So as a nonprofit, you just have to establish, basically a terms of service or what communication that you're going to allow or not allow, and then have a moderator or two moderators in your chat. What I have to say, is I have been blown away. Historically, YouTube gets a lot of criticism about comments, and it's just the internet. It's not just YouTube. But overall, the comments, the chats, and homelessness is a very emotional subject. People get emotional, have been amazing. And to be honest, that's where the gold is. That's where you communicate people. Our videos just start the conversation. It's the comments and the chats is where you really get to engage with people and to help change paradigms. Or in like Bridget's case, I'm able to offer support through our online support group, and hopefully she'll connect.
Definitely. And I think what we find from our experiences with nonprofits is, and not just nonprofits, but any YouTube creator, if you engage in the conversation in a sensible way and don't just ignore it, and you facilitate that conversation, then the conversation almost self-moderates. Of course, you need to have a moderator. And just like today, we've got Jaya from the Social Impact team helping me out with that, taking questions and checking on the stream. Which is super important. But if you engage in a certain way and if you facilitate the conversation, it almost becomes not just self-policing, but the conversation goes up a stature. If other people see the conversation being valuable, then people are going to add valuable opinion and add valuable input. And that is something that you facilitate as a moderator. Cool. So if there are any final questions in the chat, we've got 1 minute left. So if there are any final questions in the chat for Mark, but I'd love to know, Mark, while we wait for anyone to put a question in, what does 2020 look like for you from a YouTube channel perspective with COVID-19, and how might live be an important part of that?
Great question. And I think many of us, and it's not just nonprofit, it's for profit. Everybody's like there's a lot of unknown. For invisible people, our weekly live stream is key now. You got donors texting you that, are you going live? So it's important, right? And reaching, people that might need help. It's important. As 2020 gets here. And our plans, if I don't know about you, but I had a plan for 2020 that's now gone, right? It is totally gone. So we're kind of in a little bit of a hovering mode. As soon as possible, we will be back out producing the first person stories that we're known for, that our audience really wants, that actually works the best to educate people. We started producing mini documentaries. You can see it on our YouTube page. We got some grant funding to do more of them as it relates to COVID-19 and homelessness. I'm very excited about that. And, you know, like we're doing a live stream on Thursday with an emergency room doctor from New York City. We're going to see how we can implement more live streams. I mean, travel is going to be challenging for some time. So you have to be flexible. You have to repair and adjust. And there's amazing tools that YouTube provides for you to have impact in your cause and reaching your community.
Absolutely. It is going to be an interesting time, and definitely reaching audiences and educating audiences is going to be super important. And live gives a connection in a way that you need to take people up a story arc to convince them to engage with your organization. You want to take someone from a viewer to someone that is going to engage with the content, to someone that is going to share the content, ultimately someone that is going to be an advocate and hopefully a donor. Live can just help take someone up that journey so much quicker and so much more effectively because of that back and forth. And we at YouTube Mark, we just love to see what you're doing. It really is just so impressive that a one-man band can achieve so much. And who thought you'd get 400,000 subscribers on homelessness? But it's because of your community engagement, is because of all the best practices, and just because you've got such enthusiasm on educating people and doing it from the right place. We really do appreciate everything you do on your channel, and I know everyone in the comments does as well. So thank you so much for taking the time and giving your tips on your weekly live streams and the channel generally. And to everyone on the stream, so all of the links, and I think I might have added in about 30 links into the description. So everything that we've covered today, whether it be premieres, mobile live, whether it be giving, whatever it might be, all of the links are in the description, so you can deep dive even further into how to optimize for these different features. We do want to help out with supporting organizations, social activists, and creators that want to do moments of good. So we are trying to take as many learnings as we can and supply them to you, because we know that ultimately you're the ones that are going to be changing the world, and we want to give you a voice and a platform to do that. So all of the links are in the description. If you have any questions, we'll carry on looking at the comments for the rest of today and try and reply where we can. But thank you very much for joining, Mark, and everyone in the live stream, and we will see you all soon. Thank you, everyone.